Just being dark. I'm canceled, baby. You know what I'm talking about. You're the hand of the
Shade
king.
Hunts Allison by
Again.
Daniel Davies. Playing on YouTube Music.
Uh-oh. Got some music rolling.
Our music. That's our intro music.
It's all there. Theme music.
I love this music. I like it.
Spooky.
Spooky.
I don't know. I feel like I'm Jim Carrey from The Mask.
Cool.
Like, you know what I mean? Jim Carrey from The Mask.
Smoking.
Spooky.
Smoking.
Yeah. Smoking. You're about to go fuck up some ghost. Whoa. Wait, what? You're gonna fuck a ghost?
What do we got going on? I feel like I'm about to go.
I don't know. Supernatural sex, baby. Supernatural sex. It's going down.
Always. Sounds like some incubus, succubus type action going on.
Ooh. Succubus.
Succubus. I think I just got stabbed by Michael. I like it. Yeah, you know what's up. That's the Allison gets stalked by the shape.
Dude, let's go trolling.
That's right. That's what I said earlier. Like I'm like, who's ready to troll? And I'm like, wait a minute. Who's ready to roll with the trolls?
Keep trolling.
There you go. I like it.
Rick rock and troll. Yeah. Are you trolling me? How about a little what did I say fucking earlier? What was it? Troll. I don't remember. Never mind. You can get Rick trolled. Huh?
Rick troll. There you go. Rick trolled.
Yeah. Oh,
all right.
Was it Red and Dirty? I don't know. Oh, they see me trolling. They hate.
Oh yeah, there you go. That's another good one.
Yeah,
the trolling.
Yeah, they see me trolling.
They hating. Little pin millionaire.
Three, baby. What's up, an eclectic mix? Mix, Maxa. What time is it?
Troll on 3. That's right.
All right. It is 10 after. I love rock and troll. All right. You know what time it is.
What time it is? Time to troll.
Keep trolling, baby. You know what time it is.
Keep on trolling.
Thank you, trolling, baby. I could do this all night. I could do this all fucking night.
Dude, like, we could just make that the show.
Yeah, we're just gonna say troll and everything. You know what I mean?
Just do show tunes.
Trolling in the deep. I can sing every part of that song except for that part, like the main fucking part. Dude, I went off on this fucking song. It was badass, and then I get to rolling in the deep, and I'm just like,
well, that's the highest part. It's hard to do, man. That's got to be the toughest part.
But I want it so bad.
Feel like I know.
I know y'all be loving this shit right here. Okay, without further ado, this is Dark Reality, the paranormal and conspiracy hour and a half, hour and 45 minutes, however long it takes. And this is your host, co-host, coast to coast. Dark Faction, and I'm Canceled Reality. And today we are going over the Scandinavian Troll. I got to choose this one myself. Yo. Hey, man, I was going through a whole bunch of different things with boss man, you know what I mean? Just a bunch kicking ideas around, and then I went ahead and did none of them. and got off the phone and I was like, man, I remember that movie Troll from Netflix, It was badass.
Oh yeah,
And then
yeah.
turns out I don't remember Troll, and I was thinking of Troll Hunter anyway. So Troll Hunter is pretty fucking badass too. I don't know if y'all seen
Troll
that.
Hunter is badass. That is a good one. And when you said Troll originally, I'm thinking of like the 1987 Troll, where they move into the apartment building, and it's like the Jim Henson type trolls, that are like singing, and yep, it's got a Elaine from Seinfeld in it. It's and
Yeah.
really interesting, dude. I love that and part two, but the first one was better for sure.
And the funny thing is, those trolls are actually kind of modeled after some of the Norwegian trolls.
Yes, they
They
are.
have that like sell they sell to dumbasses like us. So
Yep.
it's pretty good.
Absolutely. Definitely, man. There's a lot of really good information too, man. Like, and one thing I'll say before we go on, and I say it time and again, but it's so true that pretty much anything you get into when it comes to the paranormal, whether it's you're talking about like cryptids, aliens, even a lot of conspiracies, they all intersect in some way, shape, or form. And time and again, we find it where you go doing the research and you come up with all these similarities between whether it's mermaids, aliens, trolls, what have you. And it's like it's just interesting because I've always felt that way, that there's always these intersecting parts and themes going on. But when you start doing that heavy research the way that we've been doing, you start seeing it in a whole new way. Like, damn, there are so many things that connect and that are cohesive. It starts blowing your mind, and it's like a whole new rabbit hole to go down. So it's
Yep.
pretty interesting.
You can like literally go anywhere with any of them. Any of them. You can make them connect
Yep.
easily. Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, you can.
Robert Dabber Clark, by the way. Dabber. Oh, and the show is brought to you by Out of the Dark Productions and
Yeet.
Promotions. Productions and Promotions.
Promotions.
L. Skizzard.
Yeet. What's up, Derek? What's going on, my homie? Good to see you.
And if anybody wants to go ahead and throw out some, we're not adverse to advertisements. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Wink, wink.
Absolutely.
Nudge. Don.
I know.
Say more.
I know. Huh? I didn't get it. What'd you say? So, let me see here.
Pickle?
Yeah, dude. Pickle. Do you wanna do the honors? Do you want me to do the honors, dude? It's up to you. This is kind of your deal, so you choose.
Nah, go for it, man. We'll just do the show as per norm. And
As per norm? Okay.
I'll interject with my silly shit.
Cool. Sounds good. I'll just let my diarrhea of the mouth commence, and let's do this. All right. So
Away we go.
That's right. So obviously, guys, talking about trolls, the truth and the existence of trolls, it goes back to the beginning of mankind, and it just like a lot of the cryptids we talk about, just a lot of the topics in general that we talk about, typically we'll go back to ancient times, and I don't think that's by mistake. I think it's by design. And just like with every other subject we've talked about, there are references to trolls in the Bible, and a lot of people that's what a lot of people believe. Now, when you think of yes, exactly, when you think of the giants that were talked about in like the Book of Enoch, you think about the actual Book of Giants, the Watchers, the Nephilim. These are all figures and I guess you could say like a type of mythology that has been gone over for like I said before the existence of man. Honestly, that it is what some have said, because they say that with regard to the Nephilim, they were referred to as the sons of fallen angels, right? And if those of you who are familiar with the Bible, and also with the Hebrew Bible, which I think is there's the Book of the Giants was also part of that, and the Watchers. Um, the fallen angels were the basically like Lucifer and his minions, basically his legion, and the idea is that they had relations with the human women, right? And what was born out of that were giants. So and there's a lot of different, uh, I guess, areas of the world that have their own take on not only giants but trolls. And obviously, one of the most well-known that we were talking about today are the Norwegian, Scandinavian, the Norse. They all obviously like intersect, and they even within that, just like when if you were listening to the story last week when we were talking about the mermaids, how different not only religions but different areas of the world had different views on not only what they were, but whether they were good, whether they were bad, whether they were good and bad. There was a lot of that mixed in, and I don't think that's by accident either, because my theory on a lot of these things, like if we're talking about extraterrestrials, demons versus angels, I think that it's very likely, especially if these giants, trolls did come from the fallen angels. People say that there's the good angels that are watching out for people, and then there's the fallen angels that became demons essentially. So we have the idea of like a species of like demon trolls, and then a species of trolls that kind of coexisted with men. That's not you don't hear that as often, that they were peaceful and coexisted, but they do exist. And a lot of it had to coincide with Christianity, honestly. And so those are, like I said, when you're talking about the text, the biblical text, when we talked about the race of giants, we also talked about how in the book of Enoch and Daniel, they were looked at as guardians. So that was the side of it that said, okay, maybe there's possibly some good and bad. And then there's also ones that were talked about. Not only were they bad, but they actually feasted on the flesh of men, and that there was actually battles. And a lot of like J.R. Tolkien's, the Lord of the Rings speaks about it. A lot of people say that, and it shows in his writings that a lot of his inspiration for the Middle Earth and everything came from not only the stories from the Norse legends and what have you, but also the biblical text to talk about it. And the reason I like to go back there first, okay, because we could start right at the Scandinavian, the Norse, but it goes back obviously much before then. And I like to always try to visit the origins of the actual myths, or the whether it's mythology or legends, whatever you want to call it, because just like with every other subject we've talked about, I believe that a lot of them have basis in truth. And it depends on your beliefs, obviously, but it's still interesting to go back to the beginning. It helps you kind of go forward and really make sense of, okay, is this just complete bullshit? Is it just something that was made up along the way, just like a fairy tale? Because we know that a lot of trolls are in fairy tales. Or is it something that's just evolved over time, like mermaids, like pretty much anything, right? Like werewolves, vampires. And so one of the first written records of in Nordic countries actually has the image of a troll. It was a commonly found symbol. So moving kind of forward through time, that's something that stayed true. And it's interesting to think, and we talked about this time and time again as well, that there's a reason that we're seeing these statues, we're seeing the writings about them. I think you start to realize that it might be a little bit more than just myth. It might actually have, if they're like praying to these, if they're a deity of sorts, it makes you wonder. And in the Middle Age era, the Nordic and the Nordic countries, the word troll actually has like a lot of different meanings, and I think that's something that we kind of talked about. Um, it doesn't just necessarily mean a big lumbering
Yeah, that they
oaf, that carries a club around.
right. It could also be an animal.
Yeah.
Obviously like troll sized and troll like. They said that it could be wolves. The wolves were trolls, and I think the other one was like hogs. Those were the two
Yep.
main ones. But they could be anything, and they have so many different trolls. Kind of like how in other places you would do with fairies, like you'd have the wood fairies and the water sprites and all that stuff. They have the same thing, but with trolls. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So there's mountain trolls. There's mountain trolls, and them guys go down in the caves and they get all subterranean. They're smaller, but then you have forest trolls, which are huge, and those are the ones that are usually the ones that are below bridges. You know what I mean? That's where the whole bridges thing comes from because they're going through the forest and or even in the mountains, I guess. But they are the keepers of the bridge. They have the treasure. They're the ones that you think of. Seven dwarves.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
trolls, mountain trolls.
Trolls.
Um,
Yeah.
so I mean, they even have women, like beautiful women, like, and of course it's Nordic, so they're very blonde and very blue eyed and very pale of skin. That's what they said, and they were very gorgeous. They were very beautiful, and they also had sirens, almost like mermaids and every things that we've already talked about. But they're
Yep.
also trolls. So
Absolutely.
there's
Yep. And
that.
and that's right, and it's interesting because when you look at like when you're talking about the hogs, a lot of, depending on what you were referencing as a troll, would also depend on this specific scenario, because they said like sorcerers would, when they were talking about trolls that were hogs, the sorcerers were supposedly sending out these trolls or hogs as like beasts to attack their enemies. Just a lot of it will kind of is reminiscent of, again, what you would see in like Lord of the Rings, because that's obviously what's wrapped up in Tolkien's writings. As I said, so a lot of it, some of it was new to me because, like, I was familiar with a lot of the base information,
Yeah.
but thinking about it as like a werewolf, for instance, like I'd never heard of a troll being a werewolf, right? Like that was a new one by me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was something new.
And the abominable, the Yetis, the abominable snowmen. That was hard. Abominable snowmen. All of them. They're all ogres, orcs, whatever you want to call them. They're all trolls.
Yep.
It's a bunch of trolls. Were troll.
Yep. Yeah, it's true, and I mean it got to it's so there's so many varieties that there's even, and I'll talk more about that as we go on, that there was like these hybrids and of these trolls. But like we talked about, yeah, I could also, another cool thing that I could talk about was an undead warrior, almost like a zombie of sorts, or like a vampire, which talked about, but also
Zombies.
yeah, like a zombie, the boars that we talked about. There was these heathen deities, and non-human, like you said, ogres, which is interesting. Now, when we're talking about this, there's some Old Norse nouns that actually kind of vary and defer to some of these things we're talking about. But it's interesting to look, because depending on what era you look at, it can mean different things. But there were those nouns that we were talking about already. Some of them was like, yeah, fiend, demon. There was even a berserker, which we know, and I'm sure some of you have heard of that. But to me, it was weird to even read about the berserker, because I had read about berserkers before and how they were ingesting a certain I guess, I don't want to say
Mushrooms. Mushroom.
Yeah. Yeah, it was it was mushrooms, and to go basically to get battle crazy and bloodthirsty, they would do shrooms exactly, and so that kind of caught me a little bit. It was interesting to read that. So yeah, depending on the area that you lived in or the tribe that you were in, troll could be referring to a number of different entities, and most of which were obviously seen as benevolent. They weren't seen as helpful or you know, or I guess peaceful towards human beings. But um, there was like all these a lot of different words that like talking about ones that would conjure magic. So apparently there's some that are more magical than and that were seen as more spirits than they were physical
Yeah,
beings.
they were straight up witches. They were
Yeah.
like straight up witches. Yeah. Like I was watching this one. She's a witch, and she was going to Finnmark, and that was just like her whole journey. She's just going to hang out in Finnmark. I guess. Well, I don't know. We'll get to there eventually, but in World War II, they fenced that part off. Like they kept extra soldiers over there, and they wouldn't let any planes fly over it. Then it was like a no fly zone. You couldn't bring any ships anywhere near it. You couldn't like it doesn't matter if you were a partner with Norway or not. You could not go to Finnmark. And some say that the reason is because of the giants. So
Well, and that's interesting that you bring that up, because and this is something that we can tie in, but it's something interesting because you brought it up now, so I'll talk about it. So I know you've heard about it, MJ, but so back in 2002. This is an interesting one, and this is more. I'm jumping the present day because a lot of people would say, well, these are things from ancient times. These are, again, they're just stories, but this took place in Afghanistan, in the Kandahar Mountains. So there was a army infantry unit that they had sent out to the Kandahar Mountains. They had been out for a little bit. They were supposed to, do their normal check-ins, and apparently it had been an extended period of time. They hadn't checked in. They didn't get a like a tick, basically. Like there was no call-ins for like contact or anything like that. So they're like, okay, that's weird. We haven't heard from them. So what they did, and this went on, like they let it go on for a little bit before they actually sent out another unit. They ended up sending out a unit of Green Berets. And so when they go out to this mountain, these mountain ranges that they're in the Kandahar Mountains, to look for this missing unit that had been missing for quite a while, they're going up, they're kind of zigzagging up this mountain. And it's a pretty steep mountain, and they're looking for signs of this unit that had gone missing. And as they're climbing up the mountain, they start to see signs of the unit. They start seeing like bits of a uniform or parts of radios or helmets or boots. So they start thinking, oh man, there was some sort of an ambush that happened here. Like they were attacked. And so they're very on edge. They are, as they're walking, as they're going up, they're taking they're taking their time, but they're also making sure that they're maneuvering tactically as they're going up, covering each other. And then the mountain, basically, it all of a sudden plateaus off. And when they get to this plateau, it's this big flat area on this mountain, which was totally out of place, but it's just completely flat, and it's a big area. So they get up, this unit of Green Berets gets up there, and this is where they see massive amounts of basically uniforms. Again, they saw boots. They saw a lot of equipment from what they're guessing is this unit, this army infantry unit. And then they start seeing actual dog tags, bones. So they're like, man, yeah, something really, really bad happened here. And they're very on edge. And one of the Green Berets looks over to his left. And this was well documented. This isn't just like some bullshit story. This was actually ended up having to be declassified because one of the Green Berets actually spoke about it when he wasn't supposed to. So you can look it up for yourself. This is legitimate. This legitimately took place. But at any rate, so the Green Beret looks over to his left. He sees this giant cave opening. It's huge cave opening. And he's like, whoa, that's, they're kind of taken back by it. And he suddenly starts seeing movement coming from inside this cave. He can't tell what it is, but he's seeing this movement. And so he's telling the other guys, he's like, hey, I've got, we might end up having contact over here. Like he's thinking that there's going to be an ambush coming out of this cave. And so they all point their weapons at this cave, and they all kind of, get in their defensive positions. They're all taking up position, waiting, and they're kind of inching closer towards the cave, but they still can't see anything. And out of nowhere, this gigantic spear, which, I guess it was just like 15, 20 feet long. It was just huge. This gigantic spear comes flying out of the cave, and it hits one of the Green Berets right in the chest. It impales him, flies back, and it sticks into the ground. He's basically like skewered into the ground, and they're like, what the hell? They are terrified. There's the medic trying to attend to him. Like they have no idea. And they're looking at this thing, and it's like carved. It looks ancient, and it's humongous, and it's heavy. It's way too heavy for like a man to have thrown. And they're terrified, right? Like they are just like shaking. And these are Green Berets. They don't scare easily, but they're scared. And out of nowhere, this like 10, 12 foot tall, red-headed giant, and again, this is like sounds like a made-up story, but it was declassified. He comes running out of this cave just like with this war cry, and he's got another spear in his hand, and he's literally like he's got really long blondish red hair. He's got a long red beard, and again, this isn't Afghanistan, guys. This is not like this is like. He's very, he's out of place anyway, right? He's a giant, but right. He's not like a Middle Eastern looking giant. He looks like he's, from the areas that we were talking about with these Scandinavian, these Nordic trolls. And so he's running out, and they just start unloading on him. Like they're just unloading their weapons on this thing, and he's still coming. He doesn't take him down at first, but they eventually do take this giant down, and they're like in shock. They have no idea what they're looking at. They know it's not human. They look at it closely after they take it down, and it's got 6 fingers and 6 toes on each hand and foot, which they're like, okay, this thing is not just a big man, like an overgrown man. So they know it's something different. They call in support. They get this huge,
ability.
Yeah, exactly. And they exactly. They had to take it out by what can't remember what type of helicopter it is, but they had to tie this thing up. What's that?
Was it Bessie? Wasn't it?
I think so. I think it was. I think you're right. I couldn't remember that part, but I believe it was. And they had to tether this thing, and it was super heavy. This thing weighed thousands of pounds, and they were told, of course, not to talk about it. It was supposed to be very hush hush. And after they lifted it up on this helicopter and took it off, they never saw it again. And they, of course, were told that they could never speak about it again. But one of the Green Berets he was like, this was just too crazy. He stayed quiet for a long time, because again, this was back in 2002, when we had gone back over after 9/11, and it was crazy to hear this story. And I actually heard it told again. I'd heard it before, and then I heard, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Mr. Ballin on YouTube, and he was actually
YouTube.
I think he was actually I think he was a SEAL, if I'm not mistaken. He was a Navy SEAL, and he told the story that he had heard actually that corroborated this whole event. But how interesting to hear that coming from someone like that not only do these giants exist, but they very well could have those origins. I'm interested to know why it was in Afghanistan, of all places. It makes you wonder if there's
because Afghanistan's never been conquered, and the reason is because those mountains are full of caves and subterranean cave systems, and they know it, and they've for generations and generations and generations, they know these caves. You know what I mean? No
Right.
one can beat them. You can't go in there and you cannot beat them. The only person who's ever subdued them was Alexander the Great, and that's through marriage. So
Yep.
nobody has ever beaten the Afghanistanis or whatever. I'm not sure what
Afghans. Yeah.
exactly they're called, but Afghanis, I think. But
Yeah.
they've never
Yeah.
been beaten ever,
Afghans.
not one time.
Yep. And that's a
So
great point
it's
because
very possible that he. I'm saying it's very possible that he could have went into a cave system, and if he's a mountain giant, then he knows. He grew up knowing these things, and giants can get up to like 2,000 years old or whatever. So it's. I mean, so the story goes. So it's very possible he could have
yeah,
just went through the caves.
just traveled there over time. Yeah, and that's kind of my thought process because yeah, that's a whole nother conspiracy, but I don't believe it is one at all. We know there's a lot of subterranean tunnels all over the place, and that's what made the most sense to me. Is like, yeah, how do you get there? Well, especially if you start getting into things like Hollow Earth and things like that. There's
Uh oh.
dun dun dun. What's going on?
The Hollow Earth, Rico. Hollow Earth. You know what I'm talking about? I was listening to you talk, and now you're frozen. I guess I'm
The
frozen.
whole Hollow Earth thing and talk about everything one of these times. Um, I'm just kind of
What?
getting through all this, making
You're a
sure I'm.
lizard person.
What's
You're
that
good,
now?
brother. I said you're a lizard person. Go ahead, bro. You're good.
Uh,
I didn't mean to. I didn't
cool.
mean to throw you off track.
So no. You're good, man. Definitely. So going back to, we're gonna kind of jump back to some of the older mythology, but so there's this Austrian American scholar named Lotte Motz. I guess I'm pronouncing that right. He had a PhD in Germanic folklore, and he theorized that there are actually four distinct classes of trolls, or giant beings, basically. There was and again, forgive me because a lot of these are some of these are Nordic words, but there's the lords of nature, which were the Jotun, the mythical magicians that were actual pronounced trolls, the hostile monsters that were the Purs, and the heroic and courtly beings, I guess, that called the Irsi, which the Irsi were apparently the most rare. What am I missing? What am I missing in here? Got a break from talking. This man a break from talking. Y'all have to binge watching Ancient Aliens. Oh yeah, oh yeah, man. Like we nerd, especially me. Like I nerd out so bad
Thanks,
sometimes, man.
Matthew.
What's that? He enjoys speaking. This is my dog, bro. That's why. Appreciate you, brother. I do. Like fun fact: the first person convicted of speeding was going 8 miles an hour. That is a fun fact. I like that. I do though. I do enjoy speaking. I mean, if it's something that I'm passionate about, like you can't shut me up because it's so interesting, and it's like I feel like I'm kind of a kid in a candy store, and I know that MJ feels like that a lot of times too. Like just these subjects are super interesting to learn about. And so going back to the talking about like the early Scandinavian folklore, um, basically the old Norse sources, trolls, basically, and you kind of talked about this, MJ, how a lot of them dwelled in like areas of rock and mountains or caves, and that kind of goes back to what we were talking about the Afghanistan troll, the giant, and that's a lot of times where you'd find them, but a lot of these trolls were said to actually live, that they weren't necessarily solitary, that a lot of them actually lived in small families. And that, again, some of these were known to be helpful to human beings. Again, that wasn't as common, but it's interesting to note that because most of especially after Christianity became more prevalent, that's when it's almost like trolls were then demonized. and again, we do believe that there were the good trolls and the bad trolls, but it's unfortunate if this was the case that after Christianity became strong, that they possibly even the trolls that weren't seen as bad were kind of just grouped together in one group. But they did, they did like their privacy. They liked isolation from the outside world, which, who can blame them for that? Um, you know, from what a lot of people said, that the ones that were very peaceful, they didn't like confrontation. They actually avoided confrontation with these other species because some of them, again, being um, so seen as evil, they wanted to steer clear of them, and them being dangerous to humans, of course. I think I identify as a troll. Hey,
That's
that's
not a gender. That is not a gender.
no. What's up, Queen? What's up, Bree? Yeah, no, that's that'd be a new one. That'd be a new one, identifying as a troll for sure. We'd have to add
Yeah.
LBGT, another TR to the whole thing.
G. Yeah.
TR.
Yeah, and they're gonna have to have very large bathrooms. Very large.
Yeah.
Very large.
Yeah, that would be that would be interesting. So it's a lifestyle. Makes you wonder what the
I may
Crusades were
have a
really
wee bit of
about.
troll in me. Hey, you know what?
That
Real quick, while we're here, and she said I might have a wee bit of troll in me. Funny story. Norwegians tell their parents tell their kids about these two. Oh, sorry about these two trolls. I can't remember the name at the moment, but they're two little two little trolls, and they live in your teeth, and they eat on sugar, and they mine your tooth. They like eat it out from the inside out. This is how you get cavities because of tooth trolls. You know what I mean? So brush your fucking
interesting.
teeth.
That's an
Yeah,
interesting one.
yeah. What curious about this? Yeah, yeah. And she told me about it, or she showed me it. It was cool.
That
Yeah,
is
there's
that is
do better brush. They don't like the brushing. That they don't like the brushing. Pillow. Yeah. Where'd you go? Did your phone die? Don't leave me alone.
There we
So
go.
new
I'm back.
phones. Yeah, so they eat up on the sweets and uh, yeah.
Yeah,
So they actually have pickaxes and everything. It's like a mine for them. The kid dentists have pictures of trolls in their office. See, boom.
that's pretty interesting. Actually, I didn't know that part of it. But and Pickle made a good point about the wondering what the Crusades were really about, because I was talking about how it became more prevalent that trolls were all evil during the when Christianity became more centralized and more popular. So I mean, who knows? There's
Yeah, well,
so many theories out there about
I,
these type of things. Go ahead, brother.
I was just gonna say everything got demonized. I mean,
Yeah,
anything that's not within their control
yeah,
got demonized.
it really did.
I mean, so it was like, oh, you don't believe what I believe? All right, well then fuck you. We're gonna kill you. You know what I mean? We're gonna come and we're gonna take your country. We're gonna kill your kings, and that's what we're gonna do. We're just gonna fuck you up.
Which is,
Why? Because you don't think like me, so fuck off.
yep.
I mean, it's just some shitty thinking, but that's what happened.
No, it's true, and that's the part that's really unfortunate about it, is that um, the people, the ones who are supposed to be, and it's still true to this day, a lot of the ones that are supposed to be the loving, accepting, peaceful. When I mean, that's the teaching of Christ, is to be that way. Now, there's always it talks about taking up your sword as well, but not to try to force someone into your belief system, and especially not by force. So that's another topic, obviously. But yeah, there was a lot of that going on.
Unless you're part of the family, right? Unless you're part of the
That's
family,
right.
because their god's a badass. He plays football and basketball. You know what
That's
I mean?
right.
Anyway, I digress.
That's all right. So the the appearance of trolls also vary depending on who you spoke to, which we kind of talked about. And just like we talked about with the mermaids, they were said to be a variety of species. Some are said to be grotesque and ugly, like we talked about, almost monster-like, while others just kind of like what you had said, MJ. Some of them were known to actually be, with the female species especially, were known to actually be like beautiful. Were actually known to actually not be good-looking, not ugly, like a lot of them have been made out to be.
Probably so, Ali. Probably so.
Yeah.
Amazonians.
Oh yeah, that's a very good point, because them being like the Amazon being big, that like really big the way that they were, who knows? Like it's really hard to say, but there's also
and the little screen.
What's that now?
She said I had my tail in public. I said yeah, and on the little screen.
Mammoths versus elephants.
Yep, she's back.
Yeah, that's true, Derek. That's a good point. Yeah, the mammoths versus elephants, monkeys versus gorillas. Yeah, I can see. Oh yeah, queen being and the queen.
You know, you can do that with the Homo sapiens and the hominoids. You know
Yep.
what I mean? Because there was a separation there, also.
Yep.
And then yeah.
Yep.
And then there was the whole weird water monkeys.
Yeah. So that was like, and then the water monkeys. Yeah, exactly. Like the split is just interesting to think about. When you talk about evolution, if that's an area that and I think it's very interesting to look at. I look at all aspects of that, and if you do, it starts to make more sense.
Water monkey.
The water monkey. Not sea monkeys, guys. Not the same thing.
No. Those guys are
read the 3 L's.
They expand.
Love, lips, and legs. No hate. I know.
Oh yeah, Willie. Good night. Good night.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are like way, like super way. Unless you're like Shrek, and then you're.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Yeah, because we know he's an ogre, and that's obviously part of the whole clan, part of the whole group. Did you now? Shrek can't get it.
She said Shrek can get it.
Oh, can get it. I thought that's
like. He was like, yeah, Shrek can get it. What's
all right? I was like, I thought you said can't. Yeah.
Come in my swamp.
I love it, dude.
She's like,
hell yeah, I love it. Here's another interesting part that I read about, which was kind of new to me. The legend about trolls being nocturnal, right?
Yes.
And
then turning
to stone in the sunlight, which obviously in some ways kind of reminded me of vampires. Maybe not so much the stone, which kind of sort of, right? Like they're nocturnal, they can't go in the sun. Does a little bit different things to them, but having that sensitivity.
That's why they do well in Norway.
Yeah, exactly. And there was also talk that a lot of the stone bend over Shrek were you guys.
Well, I didn't even read that one. I was just talking about Penny. But they can only come out at night, and during the day they turn to stone.
Yep, to turn to stone.
Some of those stone formations really do look like.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. Yeah, a lot of them do.
Holy shit.
Yeah, which was nuts. It blew my mind. Well, I came here to troll. Get your troll on.
Yeah.
We got ourselves covered. Trolling with the homies. That's right. Trolling with the homies. I love it. A little clueless.
Yep.
Let's see here. Yeah, and that was kind of crazy though, because there was a lot of speculation about the rock formations that looked like you said a lot like trolls, which was kind of hard to. Some people said they were carved to look like trolls. Others said this is a troll meetup. Oh yeah, troll space.
Yeah. Yeah.
Troll space up in here.
Trolling Loco. Troll Loco.
Troll book. Let's see here, and then there was another one. There was another one too. There was the troll tongue. That was like that rock formation that was out. It was kind of like a cliff. More.
Oh, that's cool.
That was cool. Yeah, where it's supposed to be the tongue of a troll.
Well, that's all. All that's like what the Jotunheim was it Jotunheim mountains?
I think so.
What it was called. Yeah, I know Jotunheim is like it's the tallest mountain in all of Europe area, and it's the tallest. It's the highest, and that's where they have the tongue. Jotunheim.
Yep.
Is it? It's pronounced Jotunheim. Jotunheim.
Jotunheim.
Jotunheim.
Yeah, I think Jotunheim. Yeah. I think it's Jotunheim. Ja.
Yeah. Yeah.
Billy Goat. Oh yeah, Billy Goat Gruff. Yeah, I love Billy Goat Gruff. That was like one of my favorite stories.
Yeah, and he's under a bridge, and he is a wood.
Yes, that's right. Which is So well done there, definitely. Childhood story. Yeah, exactly. And I love that one. And that's what I was saying. Like going back to a lot of these fairy tales, like a lot of these cryptids or whatever you want to call them, mythological creatures, that a lot of people are saying that actually existed. It's almost like they got turned into these fairy tales to basically wipe out their existence in real life. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, if they're in a little child's nursery rhyme or fairy tale, that's basically putting in the same category as like the Tooth Fairy or like the Easter Bunny.
Yeah, scaring your kids into doing
shit. Oh yeah, exactly. That's right. Like you can use it to scare, and also, I mean, depending on how you used it, but it's but I know too, yeah, like you said, a lot of these, not only they would either be used, as to make them seem not as real, but if you lived in those specific areas, just like we were talking about the skinwalkers, people that lived in those areas and actually experienced them were like, no, they're real, and we're getting like a lot of the parents actually use these to like you said, scare the kids into doing what they're told, or like, the trolls are going to get you, the skinwalkers, whatever it was, and the ones that know better were like, nope, I'm going to use it to my advantage and scare the shit out of my kids. So it's
mom. There was a not. I read that also, and I read some of them were cannibalistic. Yes, there was an actual like a whole sect of them that were like just cannibalistic, and some of them, I mean, you live in a mountain long enough, you get hungry. You run out of shit. I guess.
I like the Donner Party. They just the Donner Party eating themselves. Different situation, but yeah, like you get stuck in a desperate situation. I mean, then you maybe just you get the taste for it and you end up liking it. Eat the porky one. That's the end of our rainbow before.
What's up, Drew? My mom's in here. She's a mama cancel. If y'all didn't see her, that's her. That's my mom.
And the master troll is here. Yeah. What's up, Drew? What's going on, my friend? My mom was scarier than a troll. My parents use anything. Oh yeah, same here. Yep, same here. Yep. What's up, Daddy? Oh yeah, mine too. Like my parents, honestly, my parents did one of my earliest memories, and this will kind of maybe explain a little bit of why I am the way I am. Turns out ocean can't determine size genetically in one generation. Huh? You always learn something new.
Cool. I'll just hold her the whole time I'm doing my show. Appreciate you.
The troll in Central Park was nice though. The troll in Central Park. Yep. Yeah. See, there's some good ones definitely, man. Like I said, the original Troll movie was awesome. And what else?
Thanks for the share, Daddy.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And there was actually like a very benign set of trolls. They had a name from and everything. They're like rounded river rock trolls is what they look like.
Really?
You know what I mean? Yeah, and that's they were known for helping people.
Okay, so yeah, that was the benevolent. Yeah, I actually did read about them. I didn't read about the appearance as much um, on those specific ones, but there were the hybrids that were kind of interesting that I read about. Um, and they're like in the Icelandic sagas, as well as the Scandinavian folklore. There was which could have been the result of like crossbreeding or even hybridization, depending on how you looked at it. And in theory, anyway. So there was the Troger, which was obviously the troll and the ogre mixed. Many people
Traeger.
Traeger, is that what it is? Traeger, and
Pronounced.
Traeger, and then they basically said that uh, the ogres were said to be like the different as far as because the ogres had more of like a and I know they were like French mythology. I think the actual ogre itself, but um, they were to be like they were more beastly than humanoid. To see it's more like an instinctual killer, more like a great white, which was supposedly said that yeah, if you crossbred them, like the actual trolls and the ogres, you would get something that was more intelligent, but that was like a good, like a perfect killer because it had more intelligence, but it still had that killer instinct that a ogre had apparently. And then there was another one too, and apparently, they, they said that that those were actually used and unleashed by the sorcerers on their enemies, where
Kind of like Jews and golems.
yeah, exactly. And because they said that a lot of the actual trolls weren't the regular trolls were not, they were harder to control. They weren't easy to control the way that like an ogre was. So they said that yeah, this crossbreeding made it to where they were more they were controllable, but they were more proficient killers apparently. And then there was also the there was a couple other ones too. There was the another hybrid was the because there was the Troger and then there's the Troblin as well, the Troblin. So that one was less prevalent in the sagas, but the Troblin was apparently a smaller, more robust. I'm missing
Smaller and robust.
small and robust, yes. And apparently because like if you're looking at like a goblin, and goblins were said to be like more troublemakers, kind of like gremlins, I guess. They were more mischievous, and apparently because they were smaller, they would be the ones that would like break into people's houses, steal things from their homes, run through their homes and like wreck things, I guess. But of course, the goblin is like a small and grotesque, kind of like more of a creature, but the goblin came from it was English, Scottish, and Irish folklore, like the multiple European folklore.
Yeah, they are.
And then
the hobgoblins.
Yeah, like the hobgoblins, and there was another movie too that I was thinking of that had the goblins in it, and I can't remember which one that was. Because there's
Goblin.
There's Goblin, yeah. There's the specific one that was Goblin, yep. And I remember watching that one. There was another one though too that I can't remember the name of it. That had to do with that. But obviously the goblins were a little less connected, I guess, because they weren't apparently they weren't as a lot of them were seen as not being physical beings. Some of them were seen to be like more spirit like, I guess. But then there's and that they could shapeshift apparently, which is something that again, like talking about the skinwalkers was kind of a similar trait that they had. And then there was what else? There was a couple other.
There's seemingly, to me, all these different things and how they can shapeshift and all this. Just sometimes you just kind of wonder if they just use it, the shapeshifting as a way of saying that this shit is happening. Just shit's fucked up. Fucked up shit's happening, and there's always something else. It's because it's a shapeshifter. You know what I mean? Just give an excuse.
It could be. I mean, it could be. No, I can definitely. I've thought of that before as well because, I mean, while these beings, it's hard enough to believe for a lot of people to believe that these type of beings even exist in the first place. But I think it can be even harder for people to believe. Harder to believe that something can transform, from one form into another, especially if they're supposed to be flesh and bone, because obviously, if you're familiar with, spirits, ghosts, things of that nature. It's said, especially like demonic entities are said to be able to masquerade as like children, for instance, or anyone really. So like there's like doppelgangers.
Gobble it. Oh yeah, dude, doppelgangers for real. Have you seen Negan? Have you seen Negan on here and TikTok? That dude looks just like the dude who plays Negan.
Really?
Dude, he's awesome. You gotta check him out. Yeah, he looks just like Jeffrey Dean Morgan. Like exactly like the motherfucker, dude. It's awesome. It's fucking Negan. Yeah, just look him up, Negan. I'll follow him. He recognized me. I was like, yes, a fanboy.
That's awesome. I'm gonna have to check it out.
Yeah, he walks around with Lucille and everything. Little pig.
That's so crazy. I don't know where I've been then, because I haven't even. I don't think I have anyway. I don't think I have on that one.
Check him out. He's cool.
But yeah, and I will definitely. And yeah, doppelgangers is another one that I want to do a show on sometime, because there's a lot of crazy shit about that as well. But
you're throwing doppelgangers with clones. So
yeah. Oh yeah. Yep. Absolutely could. Or Garfield. Cookie Monster was my favorite. Are we just talking about? I like Cookie Monster. Jeffrey was just catching up on you guys. What are you guys talking about? Yeah, clones would definitely be a good one as well.
Holy shit! Jason Aldean's here. Jason Aldean's here. See that? Jason Aldean.
Jason Aldean's up in the house.
I keep losing it back there.
Well, you want to sit right there with the? Yeah, it's right there.
What's up, General? What's going on? They say two dimensions collided. Ours and another. Well, and that, if that's true, that would make a lot of sense, honestly. Give anyone some of my DNA if they want to make a clone of me. Well, see, that's the interesting part, though, that Pickle made a good point about, because that is one of the big theories, and having to do with all these creatures, because there's the theory that there was that there was basically our dimension that was strictly human, that there was nothing else but humans in it, and then it collided with this other dimension that is full of all these what we call cryptids and everything else. Which
oh boy, he's going. You're about to go down that rabbit hole, bro.
How can you tell me?
And then he's gonna bring this up, the mirror on the wall, and the Bernstein Bears and apartheid and fucking. No, we're not gonna go down.
Are you talking about the Mandela effect?
Mandela effect. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, that is. There's lots. Yeah, there's lots of rabbit holes, and there's lots of tangents to go off on when it comes to this, definitely. But that does kind of. I will say this though, that whole two-dimension things does lend credibility in a sense. If you look at not just, I mean, trolls specifically as well. If it did happen, because people wonder like how this whole thing could have happened. There's that theory, and then the other theory being again that. When the angels fell from heaven, when Lucifer fell from heaven with the other fallen angels, and they, of course, like it says in biblical text, that they mated with women, human women, and that was the race of giants that became known. Whether you want to call them the Modelo effect, yep.
That's my favorite effect.
Yep, that's a good effect right there.
I like it. That's my burr. Right
that's your burr. That's your burr right there. Yeah, that is a good one.
That's my burr right there. It's crisp.
I like that one.
It's crisp.
I do like that one. I like Dos Equis a lot too.
And it's all right. It's all right.
It's all right.
Services all around. Services all around.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you, Mr.
Hell yeah, appreciate it.
Mr. Duddy.
Yes, modelo especial.
Definitely.
I like both of them though. I like them both. Actually.
Yep.
I like the dark Modelo.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Definitely. I kind of have to. It depends on the mood I'm in because I can sometimes, like, I can go like for something dark, like a Guinness, like all the way like stout, or I can go. Um,
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Let me some Guinness.
Or go.
Yeah, or good creams.
Oh yeah.
What? Yes, we're both gonna brush each other's hair. That'd be great.
Dungeons and Dragons. Yep. Mention drinking and we'll get thirsty.
Mhm.
Facts. Yeah, actually. There's another one real quick. What is it? What is that one? It's Duddy might know it actually.
Which one?
It's
What are we talking
it's the
Oregon.
yeah, it's a I think it's a Deschutes Brewery one. It's really dark. It's I know we're talking about.
Is it a troll beer?
It's a troll beer. Totally troll beer, dude. It's troll beer. It's I want to say it's like
Warsteiner.
it's not obsidian. It's what is that? It's like it's like a chocolate. It's like a chocolate beer actually. And it's like 12% alcohol, I think, something like that. It's not Black Butte. No, it's not Black Butte. It's like I think they have it.
Porter's good though. I like porter.
Yeah, Black Butte is actually really good. I think it might be Abyss. Actually, I think it is Abyss. Abyss is that really dark one, right? Yeah, I think it's Abyss. Abyss is and it's like kind of chocolatey. Yeah, that one's really good. Anyway, off subject, but yeah, the Abyss is. If you ever get a chance to have the Abyss, it's definitely a good one. Yep. Yeah, it's like $20 a bottle. Yeah. You're getting me all into the mood of that. I want some Abyss. I want to go into the Abyss. Okay. So
Dare not into the Abyss.
So
unless you find it staring back at you.
That's right.
No Nietzsche.
And so where were we? Oh, and I was basically just going back to some of the stories of giants, because we told the story, of course, for most of you that were in here about the giant in Afghanistan and the Kandahar mountain range that was found. There was another one. There was actually quite a few. There's been a lot of digs that have been going on, like around the world, and they've found burial sites of giants, and they go back again to like the Anunnaki, the Nephilim, back like thousands and thousands of years. And they're saying that again, and it depends on, because there's so many names for these giants, and again, depending on where you came from, what region of the world you're from. But it's interesting to note that a lot of these, supposedly a lot of these giants that they're finding, that apparently were buried with, they were buried with little like humans, like human remains apparently as well. And they're saying that they were basically using them as food for the afterlife. And some of them were actually, the humans were actually one of their favorite diets. And which was interesting when I read that, because that kind of goes along the lines of talking about the evil trolls that actually sought out humans to eat them as part of their diet. And there was stories that I read as well where there were the benevolent giants that were actually coming to the defense of humans during this, and that there was actually wars going on between the evil trolls and the more peaceful ones, I guess. And there's apparently text and like glyphs, which I don't know exactly where I think they might have been found in
and there's some in Denmark.
Yep. Yep, that area actually, yeah, that actually depicts the story. There were some other stories in there as well that were depicted that had to do with giants and also with aliens. I don't know if you saw those.
There's some here. There's some here in the United States.
Yeah,
They're right over there by the right over by the Grand Canyon.
that's right. That's right. I forgot. Yep, I forgot about that. There are by the Grand Canyon. There's and there was also
I forget which canyon it is, but it's just like right off the Grand Canyon.
Yep, there were.
And they found a cave, like just like you said earlier, the big, like they found in Afghanistan with the big opening, and they walked in and they found drawings like way up in the air. You know, these guys had to be like 12 feet tall or whatever. But yeah, they found them right there, right outside of Grand Canyon.
Right outside of Grand Canyon.
And a guy went and looking for him, and the first time he went, he found all this stuff, and then he came back and told the story. And then when he tried to go back, all of a sudden, you know, of course, just like in every Marvel movie and every movie, you know, government's bad, blah blah blah, because they do kind of suck. But he went, and it was you know, blocked off by the government, the U.S. government. So saying you're not allowed to go back in there, you will be shot, and all that kind of good shit. So
Yep. I think that's one that I read as well. And in where was it? There was another, and it was another cave system. And actually, you know what? Now that you mentioned talking about the cave systems, Admiral Byrd,
Scandinavian, best place to look for a troll.
Yeah, best place to look. Yep, definitely. That's the primary area. They were said to be found around the world, but that's where the largest population was said to have been found. By Admiral Byrd.
I'll go to Norway.
When he oh yeah, I'd love to go. I've wanted to go for so long.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's been one of my top destinations for sure.
But we're not doing any midsummer, okay? No midsummer.
Nope.
No.
No midsummer. Nope. Definitely not. I want to survive.
Lily.
I want to live.
Yeah. Ooh, that first death was brutal. Oh. You barely have one, Lily. Which museum has them?
Which museum?
I remember seeing a museum that has them.
Has what?
Probably Ripley's.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably the.
What's up, Austin?
Might eat you. Oh, what's up? Yeah, what's up, Austin? What's going on? What's going on, my dude? Yeah, actually, but Emerald Bird, talking about like the Hollow Earth thing, because there was all the tunnel systems. He actually said one of the primary races that were underground was a race of giants. They were a race of really highly intelligent giants, apparently, and they said, and supposedly that they actually had flying machines that were some of what we see today, apparently, and that. They wanted nothing to do with the above ground world because of all the war and all the famine and pestilence, all the disease and everything. They said they're like, we have a completely closed off system down there. It's completely different. There's no wars. It's completely peaceful down there, which is interesting because he also talked about a race that was kind of less intelligent. That they had subdued apparently that was more violent, but that was basically under their control now, which was interesting. So it makes me wonder if that's where all of the giants, because they say that the giants, you know, you can't find them today. They're very hard to find any, you know, that 2002 Afghanistan was one instance where they found a live giant and they obviously killed it. But so the idea is that all these subterranean cave systems, tunnel systems is where they dwell, and they're all dwelling basically underground, which again does go along with where trolls were found even way back when. But apparently then they also lived above ground or would come out, you know, into the open for hunting and things of that nature. But nowadays are apparently
You got it.
not seen at all.
Yeah, you got a whole troll highway in Norway. Like the whole it's called Trolls something. I can't remember exactly what
I
it
think
is.
I read that.
The yeah, like they have a and the whole highway is called Troll something, and then there's obviously the whole area around the Jotunheim and everything.
Yeah,
Leprechaun.
wasn't that
That'd be cool.
what's that? Leprechauns?
No, no, leprechaun.
I thought you said something about leprechauns.
We
Leprechaun.
no. I said that would be cool.
Oh, I could have swore I heard it.
She said clapper. She said clappercon.
Oh, okay, that's what it was.
Said clapper.
I thought you were like leprechaun. I'm like, dude, we're not. Let's not do leprechauns yet. Although leprechauns would be another good one to do, for sure.
Yeah.
There's some good ones.
I wrote a little list actually. When we get to that point, throw y'all some bones.
Heck yeah. Penny's a leprechaun too. Fairies, tiny trolls, treasure trolls,
Yes, tiny trolls. Troll museum, Instagram.
troll museum. Giggle running through grass.
Some
know
of them to
if
like
they're
2,000
out
years.
behind their face.
Some of them live to be.
They giggle running through grass.
You know, they have so many different types, but some of them have been said to live up to 2,000 years. So, yeah.
Yep. They did.
And when you're becoming
Which
a rock
is interesting
part,
because
half your life, if you're a fucking rock, you can live for a long time. You know what I mean? Troll sticking with the children. Nah, that's
oh yeah, dude. Troll sticking. Yep, that's it. Yep, definitely. I'm 110, pretty good for my age. Yeah, you're looking pretty good. Well, and it's interesting too, though, because a lot of them are said to, like, biblically, a lot of the figures in the Bible lived for thousands of years as well. So if they did come from like the breed of the fallen angels with humans, that would make sense why they were able to live as long as they did.
Yeah.
Obviously, that plus the way the world is now compared to back then, all the fucking pollutants and all the other bullshit.
And if they
More
all
of it
went
would
under
more make sense.
and subterranean, if they went subterranean, you know what I mean? There's so much down there. So I mean, they have oceans
Yep.
underneath
Yep.
the land, and you know what I mean? It's insane.
Mind blowing. Yeah, it is. It is like they do. They have like
What do you mean, Mom?
subterranean oceans.
Trolls ladder. Right.
Trolls ladder. That's awesome. That's good. The trolls ladder. If you rock, they are really alive. If you're a rock, are they really alive?
And what did you?
Oh, I see what you're saying. If
What did Jotunheim?
you're a rock.
I don't know what you mean, Mom. And Jotunheim. What did that mean, Lily? Translated.
Because I mean, if you're a rock, are you really alive? Like, are you? If you're saying if you're made of rock?
Oh yeah. Are you really alive?
Living?
Are you breathing, pulsing? I mean, it could be.
Yeah.
Especially if you came from a different dimension. You know what I mean? And you don't need air. You don't need blood. You don't need all that to survive. You're not a carbon-based.
Right. Yeah.
Life form.
The trolls. Yeah. You're
That's
exactly a different. Yeah, not a carbon-based life form. Canceled, Mom.
Yeah, I got you.
Heck yeah.
Careful, pickle. It's my mama.
It's the realm of gods.
The
realm of gods. See, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And that's interesting because they were of their origins.
Yeah.
But rocks need love. You never see a rock alone. That's true. That is true. Heimer
was a Rolling Stone. You know what I'm saying? Papa was a Rolling Stone.
That's right. Papa, that's right. Sentient. Yeah. Realize she's your. I realize. You're frozy.
Okay.
No, now we're talking gargoyles. Bridge to Terabithia. I saw that. Yep, I saw that.
She was talking about when they actually live, if they're a rock, if there's actual life.
Gotcha.
I cried.
That's funny. Is I'm one of these guy fathers. Bridge of Terabithia from the gods. Yeah. Hi, Mom. Yeah, no, there's another story too about talking about that there was actually the separate a separate group of beings that were actually rock beings that weren't actual trolls, but that were actually made of rock, and I can't remember where they originated from, but there was a different set of beings that they were big, but they weren't known as trolls, and I can't remember what the name of them is. I'm gonna have to look it up and see. I don't know if you can categorize them in that same group, but I do remember reading on some sort of like a like rock. They were like, I can't remember.
I do know that there is a rock lobster. Rock lobster.
Rock lobster. Yeah, you know, or the never-ending story, the rock biters. Do you remember that? The big guy that drove like the trike thing and he ate rocks, the big giant rock trike. You ever see that? Yeah, rock eaters. Yeah, rock eaters. Yeah. And I like that. The rock biters, rock eaters. Yeah, I love Neverending Story, man. Yeah, I just watched that not too long ago. Yep.
Yeah, that's what Leanne was talking about at the very beginning.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah.
They were the nice trolls.
Gotta do better stuff. Not very much. Maybe.
Definitely.
10, 20 minutes.
Definitely a great one.
Somewhere there, probably. Yes, yes, Sydney. Yep, it's a good one. I love it. Falcor.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, Falcor is my favorite. It's my favorite, man. Let me see here. I was gonna say that's a lot of it was that's like the bulk of it, but I know that there's definitely, just like with every subject, and I always say this every time we get into a subject, there's always a lot more to find. We just we focus on the most popular or the most interesting things. Like I'll kind of grab some from the history, some from the mythology, some from current day if possible. But I always encourage everybody, like if it's something you're interested in, to do more research, because there's far more to learn. This is just like with most subjects. It's it's more than scratching the surface, but there's a world of information out there when it comes to any of these, right? Like even things that I'm really like well schooled in, like the paranormal. Like I'm still learning new stuff all the time, because it's ever evolving and there's always new information being discovered. So it was definitely an interesting subject. Like I said, I'm learning things like the fact that categorized, like trolls being categorized with like werewolves, like these undead, almost like zombies, or
I think they're just a catch-all. I think troll is like a catch-all for all these different different beings. You know what I mean?
Entities. Yeah. Yep. Which is weird, because you got that catch-all, and then I think kind of on a separate term, you've got I guess, but it seems like you've got the catch-all, and then you've got that separation where there's the catch-all of all these different, and then there's that standalone troll, that giant being. Yeah. So yeah, it kind of seems like it's you've kind of got those two parts that are separated, but interesting to know for sure. And I didn't know that that sorcerers supposedly used them kind of at their disposal, like in the way that they did, like the hogs and everything. I never knew those to be or the boars to be known as trolls either. So lots of things that I learned in this doing the research on the topic. Definitely good stuff though, for sure. It was a fun one to read up on, and I didn't get a chance though to watch the I saw the trailer, but I didn't get to watch that whole troll movie. So I'm gonna have to watch it.
Dude,
So I didn't get a chance to see it.
I tried to get it, but Netflix doesn't. I think they took it off.
They must have, yeah, because like when you brought that link up with it on Netflix, and I looked at it, and I thought I could watch it, but I actually sat down to watch it, and yeah, it wasn't actually available. So I'm gonna find it though, because I do want to watch it. It sounds interesting for sure. It also makes me want to watch that movie Troll again too.
Troll
The old '80s movie.
I want to watch Troll Hunter.
Troll. I want to see. Yeah, Troll Hunter. Yeah, definitely, man. That's another one that all great movies for sure. Well, I think for the most part that's the majority of what I had. I think that's I like Ninja Turtles.
I'll send you this link for the two trolls, dude. It's fucking tripped out. It's creepy as fuck. It's what.
Hell yeah, dude.
They show their kids. It's the actual like the claymation shit. Like it's like the Rudolph the Reindeer.
Oh, really?
It's kind of like that. Yeah.
Oh, dude, I love that animation too. That claymation, the stop animation, dude. That shit's. There's always like a creepiness to it, but it's awesome at the same point in time.
Yeah. There's two. There's the tooth one and the two boys that go out to get the other troll, the witch troll. That one's
nice.
I'll send.
Heck yeah, dude. Yeah,
I'll Twitter them. They're
oh yeah,
they're pretty quick, but man, it's fucking creepy.
Nice.
What's up, Craig?
Oh, I love that stuff, dude. Like I'm so into like all that old weird, like even the old like Hobbit movie, like the cartoon Hobbit movie that a lot of people like creeped out by and think it's like weird. I'm like, dude, I love that stuff. Like anything that's like odd or strange or macabre, I'm like, bring it on, dude.
Precious.
My precious.
Yeah. I love that cartoon, dude. It was,
oh yeah.
The one that creeped me out, I think, out of all of those was probably Dark Crystal. That was probably the one that creeped me out the most.
I love Dark Crystal. Yeah, that one's awesome. Definitely one of my favorites. And there's another one too. So Dark Crystal was one, and then what was the other one? Damn, what was the name of that one? It was it was the movie where the mice, the woman mouse was going because her baby was sick and the father had died.
Secret of Nim. Yeah, Secret of Nim.
Yeah, Secret of Nim. Yes, yeah, that one's Witches is amazing too. Yes, Witches. I love the original Witches. The new one was okay, but yeah, Secret of the Nim, great. Witches, great. Your comment on my video, bro. Oh yeah. My pleasure. My pleasure, my friend. Definitely. Always, you know what? I always try to show love to the good ones, man. And I love your videos. And you know what? It's I don't get especially the last like 4 or 5 days. It's been really crazy trying to get in and show everybody love but I'm kind of getting back to it. So yeah. It's been a struggle, I think, and I know MJ too. We talked about that the other day for both of us.
Yeah.
It happens.
It does. We'll catch
it. It happens.
We might catch
but
it these days. One of these days.
Yeah, one of these days. One of these days. But we'll do our best in the meantime. We'll just do what we can. But yeah, man, for sure. Like, definitely my pleasure. Which is Norwegian author too. Oh yeah, that's right. Absolutely. Yep. That's right. I can't. And I'm drawing a blank, but yes, I like the old version. Yeah, the old version definitely better. Like, and that's the case with most of them too. Most of the old, like the originals and the older ones. I mean, very very seldom you'll find one. Yes.
Roald Dahl.
That's right. Roald Dahl. Yep. Yes, thank you. It was on the tip of my tongue and I couldn't quite spit it out. So.
The Witches.
Yep.
Yeah, that was good.
The Witches.
I loved it. My fourth grade teacher read it.
Oh yeah, dude.
Class.
Nice. My hometown. Oh, that's cool. It's a nice claim to fame. Like, hey, check it
How
out.
do you say that? This sounds like you're laughing.
Eh, eh, eh. Who's that?
No laughing.
Laughing. No laughing. No
There's no
laughing.
laughing.
It's like a backwards hee hee.
Dude, I was reading about Norwegian. They're like their language is pretty much the only ones that don't or that do breathe in and breathe out when they're talking. Like say say words like while they're breathing in. You know what I mean? It's weird.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yep.
See,
Yeah.
I love learning new
Yeah.
things all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Spars, Sarpsborg, Sarpsborg.
Sarpsborg. Sarpsborg.
Thank you, Waylon.
But
Appreciate you.
ooh, bubble guts.
Bubble guts. So
Salzburg.
you want to let
Salzburg.
that you guys want to have a great night, guys. Yeah,
You
you
too.
too. We're gonna also real quick before, if you guys want to, before everybody splits, have you guys vote on the topic for next week. Yep. So why don't you guys take like 2 minutes? Take 2 minutes and come up with some ideas for next week's show. Give you till what, 30, 35, 36?
Yeah, 36 to work. Leprechauns.
Leprechauns. That's a good one.
How about the Hellgate Cemetery in London? Hellgate Cemetery.
Hellgate Cemetery.
The Devil Made Me Do It case. You know about that one?
Yeah.
That weird witch.
Yep.
Fairies. The Fae. The one about Bread Woman. Imps.
Fairies.
Imps, the little nefarious.
Imps.
The Bell Witch.
Jinn.
Yes, Jinn. Can't forget about Jinn.
Jinn is a good one. Bell Witch is another really good one.
A dude by the name of Michael Taylor.
The fight that disappeared and reappeared. Oh,
Centaurs.
Centaurs.
Oh yeah,
that's a good one. Yep. The flight that, yeah, was that the Korean one? Korean flight? You had it as an option before. Which one was that, Leanne?
Never did a show on it. Which one?
Yeah, which one? Jin?
Mm-hmm.
1950s. Elvis faked his death.
The Thornton Heath possession or poltergeist. It's a haunting. Or the Danny poltergeist in Savannah.
The Danny poltergeist in Savannah.
Mm-hmm. And dude, the Winchester house.
Oh yeah, that's a big one. I love that place.
Yeah, it's insane. Was it the?
That's a great story too.
The Lechusa.
Oh yeah, La Lechusa.
Nice.
Yeah, the La Lechusa. That one's pretty awesome. It's like that freaking bird witch. Definitely a good one. Almost like a siren in a way.
Yeah, kind of.
Not the non fish siren.
Banana.
The non-banana. All right, I think we're good. We're at 36, so, and we got a good phenomena. We've got like 12 or 13, so
Sweet.
I think we're pretty solid. Heck yeah.
Hell yeah.
I hope you guys enjoyed tonight's show. That's my ringtone. Phenomena. That's awesome.
Phenomenal.
Night, Scotty. Woot woot.
Night, Scotty.
Phenomena. Now it's gonna be stuck in my head. Hope you guys have a great night. Definitely. We'll definitely get on this one. That's gonna be a hard one. Honestly, there's a lot of really good topics. Appreciate you, Hookah.
Bye 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 bye.
Night, Penny.
Good night,
Bye.
Penny. Good night, Penny.
Lily.
Are you really going to bed, Penny? Because I gotta go over to
Appreciate you guys.
dot clocks. So
Laters, Pickle. Adios.
ayo.
Appreciate you guys again, definitely. And yep, we'll let you get. We'll pick. We'll narrow it down to 3 somehow,
It's not again.
and we'll let you know.
Okay. All right.
Peace, Leanne.
Guten Abend. Guten Abend.
Cool, brother. Heck yeah. Well, I'll get at you.
Or
All right, brother.
in a little while.
Peace, everybody. Later on. Yeah.
Bye
There
bye.
you
Bye
guys.
bye. Bye bye. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye. So let me out. Let me out. Let me go.
Let me.
It's not letting me go. There.
Yes. Boom. Okay, love you. Bye. Love you guys. Have a good night. Have a good time. Have good much eating. Probably see you on a little bit somewhere. Something. Good times. Love you. Bye.